growing up in a singing family. Let me change that. Not just a singing family, a singing family. And and now making an identity for yourself, and also your new single and things of the nature. But first I want to get a little background on who Tasha Page Lockhart is. Give us a little bit about who you are.
Okay, well, I'll just give you the short version. Grew up in church all my life, and, my mom, for those who don't know who she is, her name is Lisa Page Brooks, and she's a well-known gospel artist herself from the female group called Witness.
Yes.
And, growing up and in church and listening to my mom and, growing up in church as a PK, it was really tough for me because we're held to a higher level, should I say. Like, people want you to be who they think you should be. They want you to be your parents, and they want you to, be up singing and preaching and all of that kind of stuff. And they sometimes people that have a problem with your parents will try to get to you because they're cowards. So those people are not going to go to your parents. They're going to come to you. So we dealt with a lot as kids growing up in the church as PKs. So it was very challenging. There was a lot of pressure, which caused me to rebel a lot. So I went down that road of, smoking weed, drinking, and smoking cigarettes and all of that kind of stuff. And as a result of all of that and hanging out with the wrong crowd, I dropped out of school at 17 years old, got pregnant, and, from there, from like 17 to the age of like 23, it was just a cycle of drug addiction and clubbing and partying, and I really didn't have self-esteem. I didn't love myself. I wasn't taking care of my child. It was just all bad.
Wow.
All bad. And but one thing that I can say throughout it all, even though I wasn't really acknowledging God, He was still present in my life. Because I can remember times where He was still keeping me, and, many of times I saw death. But I thank God that He kept me and He spared my life, and He prepared me for where I am today.
Oh, wow. That is a tremendous testimony of definitely redemption and just bringing you full circle back to God, which was your root. What amazes me is that how God can take your testimony and set you up in such a position where you're able to be a blessing and really work in such a capacity with others. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of times if you have not experienced certain things, you really, really can't deal with certain people on a certain level.
Exactly.
And I believe God has allowed you to be able to have your experiences so you can go into the trenches and really deal with people. It's not anything superficial. It is the real deal. And I appreciate you for sharing your testimony, the short version. But, but, the short version was just as convicting as if you would have gave the long version too, because people need to hear that and know that, that our gospel artists that we look up to, because we love their music, but know that they are also human, that they've come through something. They ain't just come here, people just think, oh, they just sing good and that's how they got there. No, God had to take you through some things and bring you to this point, And so I commend you. I commend you on allowing God to bring you back full circle, back to Him, and be able to set you up in a position to be on Sunday's Best, even though you are Lisa Page Brooks' daughter and Michael Brooks' former commissioned singer and writer and producer. It's amazing. You came from,
I'm so glad that God did it that way, though.
Yeah.
If man had a hand in it, and I'm not saying that they would, But I'm just speaking, hypothetically speaking. You know, if man had a hand in it, you know, nobody can say that, oh, yeah, I got that deal for her, or I walked her in the door of this label. Or that
right.
I call
right.
it favor. God strategically placed me where he had me, you know, and had me to win that competition, because I honestly don't feel like I was the best singer on the competition. I always say that, and I've been saying it from the beginning. I never even thought, I didn't go on there with the mindset to win. I didn't audition with the mindset to make it.
Really?
Somebody paid for me to go. I was just fulfilling somebody else's wish.
Wow.
A close family friend was like, you know, it's your season, and God put it on my heart to sing you, because I missed the Chicago audition because I had to sing at a concert in Lansing, and they already had flyers and stuff printed up. So I had to keep my commitment there, so I couldn't go to the closest city to Detroit, which was Chicago. So he was like, and it was the week of, so the ticket to Houston had to be almost $1,000. He was like, I don't care. God told me to do it, and I'm going to do it. And he bought my ticket to Houston, and I went there and I auditioned. And actually, I became really close with Miss Marilyn Gill, who's the producer of the show, Sunday Day. And she told me, she was like, I usually don't share, you know, personal behind-the-scenes information. She was like, but your name was on the alternate list until an hour before the list had to be turned in to BET. You weren't even the original 20 that was supposed to be on the show.
Ooh, wow.
So God intervened the whole way.
Yeah, wow. That's God. That's God. I'm glad that you followed.
Right.
You know, because a lot of times you be like, okay, I go down there for a good trip.
Right, exactly. And it was my birthday week, too. So I was like, okay, you know, my mother-in-law was living in Houston at the time. I was like, I'll go down there, hang with her. It's my birthday, do a little bit of shopping. I wasn't even really focusing on the auditions and the competition the whole time.
Wow. That's amazing.
I just knew I wasn't going to make it.
Wow. Well, I'm glad that you did, and I'm glad that that experience of just going ahead and taking the opportunity, you ended up breaking that cycle of doubt. You know, that you could not have made it, but you did. You know,
right,
you took the first step, and God just led the rest. You know, the rest of the way, and to this point here. When you were streaming with Kirk the other day, I know I'm crazy like that. Don't give me anything to work with. And see, Kirk was on there acting up.
Oh yeah. And he was like that in the studio too. You never know what to expect, and I love that about him, because he's such an humble, down to earth person. He made me comfortable, and you know, he didn't come in there like, you know, I'm a superstar, I'm this, I'm that. He set all of his accomplishments to the side and was just like, look, I'm here to serve you, and I'm here to make sure that you have a great quality project. You know, we prayed before every session, before every writing session, every recording session. It was just the whole time, the whole way through was nothing but God ordained. So I'm very happy.
Wow. That's great. That's great, you know, to be able to have someone to bring you along, you know, as him being a veteran in the gospel industry. And even though I know you have experience with being with your mom and your dad, but have someone outside your family to be able to mentor you and bring you along and really, really, you know, be hands-on, because a lot of people are not, you know, as hands-on. They like, okay, call me when it's time for me to push buttons, you know.
And he was not like, I mean, I'm telling you, he was instrumental in every single aspect of this project, from pictures to, I mean, everything. Every single song, even the ones my husband and I wrote together. He was still in the studio with us and giving input, and which we wanted his input, you know, because when you have somebody like Kirk Franklin, who is a bona fide hit maker, you know what I'm saying? He hates to hear that. If he heard me saying this right now, he'd be like, stop it. But a bona fide hit maker, that's what he does. God has blessed him and graced him with the creativity to do that. So to have somebody like that to groom you and to, you know, listen to your music and give you their advice and their opinion, that's priceless.
Definitely. And so, you know, with your single, being out now, I'm telling you, I was listening to it, and I'm like, wow, she is really, you gave your testimony in that different song. So, since you already gave us the short version, tell us the side now of how you believe God is working through using you with your music and your upcoming CD that will be out soon.
Well, I believe that God is using me and my music to bring a message of hope. A lot of people choose to do different things in their life because they feel like they run out of options. So some people enjoy sin, like I did. I didn't live a miserable life of sin. I had fun doing what I was doing. But some people feel like I'm out of options. There's no hope for me. There's nothing left for me to do but this. But they choose to go a different route because they feel like I have no hope. There's nothing else for me to do. So my message and what my part of my assignment is to say, no, look at it this way. Look at it a different way. You have hope. You have options. And here are your options. And your main number one option will and always will be Jesus Christ. So, you know what I'm saying? Give it another try. You may not try it the way you did it before. Try it this way.
Right.
Sometimes growing up in church like I did as a baby, my mother has always had me in church. I've seen nothing from my parents but holiness, period. She never drank, smoked, cussed. I've never heard my mother use foul language. So all I've seen was God. So coming from where I came from, I had to kind of, when I became an adult and begin to know the Lord for myself, I had to reprogram myself. And kind of like forget everything that I was taught in church. Because a lot of the stuff that we were taught in church is really not relevant in our day-to-day lives. I had to really develop a true relationship and a love for God on my own. And so that's what I want to share with people. Get to know God for yourself. Connect with, a good pastor or church. Become faithful. Really connect there at your church and go somewhere where you can get both good music, and a good, strong word with substance. And you connect there, and then you just walk this thing out day by day. So and I really want people to really get that. I really want them to get that. Connect somewhere at somebody's church. I don't care what denomination it is. Get at somebody's church and connect there and really believe and trust God that he's going to be all that he promised that he would be in your life.
Wow, that's great. That is great. I appreciate you, Tasha, for taking out time out of your busy schedule because I'm telling you, it's going to get busier from this point on with your music coming out and all of that. And I appreciate it. You have such a beautiful spirit. I think I mentioned that to you on Instagram one time. Somebody was saying how they liked you, and I was like, oh, she has such a beautiful spirit, and it's because you do, and you're not grand, you're not acting like a diva in the, in the worst sense of it, but God is.
I believe that comes from, it stems from when you've been hurt a lot in your life, and you get to a point where you don't want to become what was done to you. And that's just where I am. Like, I've experienced a lot of hurt, at a young age and in my life, starting from family, from being molested at a young age, from the age of 7 to 14, from family members. So to experience that, and then to go into the whole church hurt thing and all of that, and to be kind of like the outcast in my family because of the drug addiction and all of that, and getting pregnant at an early age and dropping out of school. I was always looked at as a black sheep of my family. So even when I gave my life to Christ, there was still years and years of proving. So because I went through all of that, that's why I am the way I am. I'm very approachable. I'm very, open. Stuff happening to me, I am the way that I am, and I wouldn't change it for nothing. I'm glad, that I went through what I went through and the way I went through it, because now my ministry can really be effective, and that's what we want as singers and preachers and, minstrels. We don't want to just sing and preach and then you feel good for a minute, but we want you to really leave there with a different mindset, and we want the ministry to take root and be effective.